Hi there, I'm Chris Swaim from Ready Robotics here in our Solution Center in Austin, Texas. One of the most common questions we have is what is a typical control scheme for setting up Forge OS? Especially since Forge is the entire cell controller and we are not using PLCs. Today we're going to show you how we've set up the control panels for two of our industrial robots here in Austin, a Yaskawa GP12 and a Kawasaki RS080. Before I dive into the control panels, I wanted to let you know that we have this information published as reference designs on our Ready Market website. Check out the link in the description below to download detailed 3D CAD, full BOMs, and connection diagrams for each of these examples. Let's go take a look at the first panel. Now we're over here in our Yaskawa GP12 cell, where we are running 208 three-phase power to this panel. We typically lay all of our panels out in roughly the same way. We start on the right-hand side with our incoming power, breakers, power distribution to other devices, and in this case that's our robot power and our 24-volt power supply. Up on the top left we have our Ethernet hub as well as our Wago 750 breakout module. The Wago breakout module is one of our favorite devices for connecting I/O because it easily connects to Forge through Modbus TCP, and they have hundreds of slice options for any configuration you might need. In this case we're just using it for digital I/O, but we also have the analog in and out slices assembled here as well. In the center, we have three-level terminal blocks for landing our I/O, and then our 24-volt power supply, fuses, terminal blocks for 24 volts, 0 volts, and our earth grounds. In the middle section of the panel, we have our safety. In this case, we're using a 6 safety controller. This makes it easy to set up and manage configurations for when our robot is both in teach and run modes. We have terminal blocks here for landing safety wiring from e-stops, door interlocks, and our relays that go out directly to the robot controller for the safety connections. And on the bottom we have our IPC that is running Forge OS. In this instance we're running a Teguar IPC. We have several brands and models of IPCs that are known to work with Forge. If you have a preferred brand of IPC, here are the minimum specs to make sure that Forge is running properly. The teach pendant connects into the panel in a few places. First off, it has an Ethernet connection that ties into our Ethernet hub. It pulls power off of our 24-volt power supply terminal blocks here, and it connects into the safety system through these terminal blocks here. We have full wiring diagrams on Ready Market for how to connect the teach pendant into a panel. And last thing to note, we like to have a few bulkheads for Ethernet, USB, HDMI, so we can connect into the system without having to have the panel open. Let's head over to the Kawasaki cell to take a look at that panel. Here we are at our Kawasaki panel. The general layout of this panel is nearly exactly the same as the Yaskawa panel we just looked at. The incoming power in this case is 240-volt three-phase that gets distributed in a similar manner on the right-hand side. It breaks out robot power and then to the 24-volt power supply to supply power to our devices. Power distribution and fuses on top with the Ethernet hub on the top left-hand side as well. In this cell we're using a different I/O module than we had in the Yaskawa panel. Here we're using a wireless system from SMC, the EX600 series. It consists of a base unit that's connected to the back side of the panel with power and Ethernet cables tied into this panel. Check out Ready Market to see the reference design for how we have the SMC EX600 set up with Forge. Again, we've got safety in the middle section here, which is a nearly identical layout to the previous panel, but in this case we're using a Keyence safety controller, door interlocks, and e-stops that all land here on these terminal blocks. Down here in the bottom, we're using a Moxa IPC to power our cell connected to 24-volt power and tied into our Ethernet hub. That's a quick overview of how we've set up control panels with two different industrial robots. If you have any questions or you need some help getting started, feel free to reach out to us.